piece of me?
Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Good morning, Vietnam! I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I feel the need for speed.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
You do. You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
What up, film fans? Happy Tuesday. Welcome to episode 310. Welcome to Priscilla, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Juan, and I'm joined by the cast, the crew, the other host, Jay. Jay, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. It's been a while. Had some internet connection problems going on over here.
Been a little bit, man. Is it hot as hell where you're at as well?
It's humid as shit.
Man, hopefully a few more
We had a
weeks.
thunderstorm last night, and it was savage. It was a savage storm.
Everybody cool, calm, collected over there at least.
Mm-hmm.
So usually when it's that hot outside and it rains like that, it just like steams us. It steam cooks us.
That's exactly how it feels here today.
Man, so hopefully we just have a few more weeks of it, man. We're already in the middle of August. Just 2 more episodes of August after this. It's hard to believe that summer is almost over.
I know I got a big party coming up in a couple of weeks. I'm going to Rocklahoma.
Man, I saw the lineup. Rocklahoma looks like a pretty good show this year.
Yeah, Avenged Sevenfold, Evanescence, Disturbed, and Slipknot.
Nice. Yeah, so you'll be there all Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday?
No, we leave on Tuesday afternoon or Wednesday morning.
Nice.
Because they have stuff that like pre-show shit on Wednesday and Thursday. That's free.
Wow, that's cool. It's pretty cool, man. So it's safe to say that this or next week might be your last episode for a few more weeks.
No, I'll be back.
Go join it up. If you guys did not join us last week, we talked about the September lineup, the rest of August. So it looks like it's going to be a fun few weeks.
Why don't you refresh that September lineup if you can?
Man, September is going to be pretty kick-ass. If you guys have not checked it out yet, we kick off September with September the 3rd. We're going to talk all about Clerks 2. We talked about Clerks a few months ago. Why not talk about Clerks 2? Should be a fun conversation. That's September the 3rd. September the 10th, we're going to talk about Beetlejuice Part 2, or what they're calling it is Beetlejuice. Have you seen the trailers, man? The trailers make this
I have seen the newest one.
It looks pretty good.
It looks like Beetlejuice is actually going to be in more of the movie than 15 minutes like the original.
Yeah. Almost like some of the comedy they showed off early kind of reminds me of the animated series.
Yeah, I used to watch the hell out of the animated series.
Did you get the same vibe?
Oh, yeah. I thought it was the little headed guy. Oh, yeah. That shit. I used to love that show.
The wife that's in this movie, or supposedly it's the wife that he took the ring from in the first movie.
That's what I've read as well.
Is she in the animated series?
No.
No.
It's just that the animated series is basically Lydia and Beetlejuice having adventures together, where they basically like they would come over and visit the undead world and shit like that, hang out and everything, and go on adventures and stuff like that.
I got to see the trailer on the big screen this past weekend, and it looked really, really good. So I'm excited. That's September 13th. We'll talk Beetlejuice. September 20th. Everybody's talking about it, so we might as well too. Furiosa.
Oh, I've seen it opening weekend.
It looks pretty good. So I'm a little excited. I'm a little down that I didn't get to see it opening week, but hopefully it'll make for a fun conversation. And then we kick off, or we end September. We close out September. There you go, with Long Legs. I saw this in the theater last week, and this movie is creepy as shit. Nicolas Cage deserves some kind of recognition. I don't care what it is, even if it's a nomination, dude. He made this movie super, super creepy. And it kind of, the whole setup and the whole, like, everything reminds you of Seven with Brad Pitt, if you've seen that movie.
Sure have.
So it's got super creepy detective vibes. There's a cool backstory to it. And then Nicolas Cage, every time he's on screen, is just super, super creepy. So That'll push into our October month. So yeah, September looks pretty good. We only have 2 more episodes after today of A24, which today's movie didn't even feel like an A24 movie. So it should be pretty fun to get into that conversation about Priscilla. If you guys didn't check out our conversation last week, we literally, me and Edward, had a Civil War about Civil War. Go check out last week's episode. You can find the links anywhere that you see the social media here. Facebook.com/The Cine-Men Movie Podcast, the Instagram /The Cine-Men Movie Podcast. The X is at Cine-Men405, and then the email is CINEMEN921 @gmail.com. Send us in some of your recent watches and recommendations, and then, like I said, all of the past episodes, you can find links right there on the social media. Jay, it's been a minute. Is there anything that you want to recommend or anything that's been caught your eye lately on recent watches?
Recent watches. The last time I was on South Park, one of the seasons. I finally completed that. All the little specials that are on Paramount Plus and everything. So I've seen every episode of South Park now.
Nice.
All 26 seasons. After I got through with that, I was wanting to watch something different. I've been on the, I'm on HBO Max right now because it's no commercials and I hate fucking commercials. So I went in and I was like, okay, I'll try Deadwood. I went in and started watching Deadwood. Loved the hell out of that. Watched all 3 seasons of that and the Deadwood movie that they have on HBO that takes place 10 years after the show ends. Because the show ends kind of like on a little cliffhanger, man, because they didn't know if they were going to come back or not. And they got canceled. So it was like, son of a bitches. But it's pretty cool. It's about the town of Deadwood during the gold rush in 1876. So that was pretty cool to see, just seeing some of the stuff that they had as far as technology and shit like that. And it was cool to see it from that aspect. But right now I'm on watching Boardwalk Empire with Steve Buscemi.
I saw season 1.
I'm on season 4.
Is it good?
I'm on season 4. It's pretty decent. You can tell it's an HBO show. There's boobs everywhere.
How's Deadwood? So Deadwood was only 3 seasons, right?
Yeah, there was 10 episodes each season.
Did it just fly by? Or did it take a while to kick off?
It fired right off. But the big thing I had a problem with, whoever wrote this show wrote it in the vernacular of somebody from 1876. They didn't write it in the vernacular that we would be able to understand, just right off, our modern speech. They like, dude, it's fucking. I had to sit there like, hold up, pause. Like, what the fuck did they say? And I'm like, and I had to rewind back a couple times, just because shit, just the way they talk. Whenever they sit there and talk about something originating with another person, they talk about, well, who was the author of that? I'm like, what the fuck? Okay.
Have you got? I've we've never talked about it, surprisingly, but have you ever gotten into Yellowstone?
I have not.
So I'm waiting. I want to get the little prequel set of the one with.
And that 1920 something or something like that.
I have 1883 here.
Yeah, there we go.
But I want to get the Harrison Ford one, even though they kind of go together, they kind of don't. Out of the 6 seasons that are out, I've seen 4 of Yellowstone, and man, they're phenomenal. Episode 1, season 1 is like the length of a movie. You got to kind of get past that first episode. But I would kind of like to see and hear your thoughts on that, or, initially, if you can get time to sit down and start that at least.
What's it streaming on? I have a couple in mind that I want to watch, like The Boys. I started season 1 of that. What else? Where's it at?
Yellowstone is on Peacock.
Shit, commercials.
Yeah. It might be on Paramount Plus too, if you have that.
There's commercials on there as well.
But yeah, and unfortunately,
but I'll end up watching some. Because I got a season and a half left to go. Because there's 12 episodes in season 4 and 6 or 8 in season 5 of Boardwalk Empire. I'm done.
I picked up the complete series, even though it's on Max, I know, but I picked up the complete series of Game of Thrones, and somebody was selling it on Marketplace for like only $35-$40, and I was like, hell yeah, let me snag that. So I snagged it. Nothing's wrong with it. It looks good. So I'm gonna try to get back in the Game of Thrones era too, because I've only seen the first 3 seasons.
Well, see, that's where I made it at before, and I got not that I got bored with it, but I was just like, I can't no more. And I just, it's not that it's a bad show. I've seen it all the way through once before. It's cool until the a little bit towards the end, but other than that, I enjoyed it. So, what about you? What have you been watching? I've seen your Facebook post that you've been watching some decent shit.
Yeah, man, check it out. If you guys, like I said, if you guys want to check out some recent watches or recommendations, it's on the Facebook or it's on the Instagram. It's Instagram all/one word Cine-Men Movie Podcast. So go check it out. I've been on vacation, so I've been able to just dive into a lot of shit lately. I went through the entire Alien franchise, getting ready for this weekend with Alien Romulus.
Romulus.
Yeah, and man, I'm excited for the new film, but the last, like I said, the first 3 Alien movies are decent. The first 2 are amazing. But Prometheus, man, I don't know if it's been a while since you've seen him, but Prometheus and Alien Covenant, they're just so slow burn of a films, towards like nothing happens the first hour and 20 minutes.
So I seen Prometheus in theaters, and it was one of those like, hell yeah, I enjoyed it. There was no, I was looking more towards some more alien type shit going on.
Yeah.
It was I get what it was. It was different place, different things.
And maybe with Alien Romulus, maybe this one is supposed to be set in, I believe 2 years.
21 something.
Yeah. So Romulus takes place in 2142, which is after Alien and before Aliens. So they kind of did the whole what would you call it? I guess the Halloween Kills thing.
In between, cool with it, something like that.
Yeah, so it's like in between Alien and Aliens. So I wish I would have known that like a week ago. I would have watched all the other movies. But it wasn't bad.
So what version of 3 did you watch?
Okay, so I stuck to all the theatrical cuts.
See, I always do director's cut because I think they're a little bit better. I think the Alien series is better with the deleted, stuff.
I might check that out too. Even the terrible Alien versus Predator 1 and 2, even those had director cuts. So after the Alien franchise, I kind of dug deep into I signed up for Regal Unlimited, which if you guys are out there, for just $20 a month, you can go see whatever you want for as many times as you want. I went and saw Cuckoo, which is a new horror movie that came out last week. It's pretty decent. I think it tries too hard to be what's that word called nowadays? Intelligent horror instead of just gore. Somebody recommended Tarot to me, which is like the card movie that's on Netflix. It's pretty terrible. Borderlands was pretty fun. I know there's a lot of people shitting on Borderlands. I've never played the video game, but I thought the movie was fun. End Time was really good. We were talking about End Time a few weeks ago, weren't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think that's a pretty fun concept. Fall Guy was fun. Challengers was really good. Trap.
I seen about the first 30 minutes of Challengers. That wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
But Fall Guy is the one that surprised the hell out of me.
Same. Fall Guy really surprised me a lot too, and I think it's honestly
it's a fun movie.
Yeah, real fun. I like the tropes to like old school movies, old school shows. I didn't know that it used to be a TV show back in the 80s or 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Trap was really good too. If you're a fan of M. Night Shyamalan and some of his horror vibes, this movie's really, really fun. Josh Hartnett came out and just kind of stole the show. It's kind of like, man, where's Josh Hartnett been these last few years? So, but yeah, other than that, man, it's been a pretty easy, fun going week. I'm excited to see Alien this weekend. So, and then I forgot the name of the movie, but everybody's talking about the new Blake Lively movie. You know what movie I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. It was number 2 this week with 50 million.
Yeah. They Yeah, it number 2, man. But it's every theater I went to, the place was packed for that movie.
Deadpool crossed $1 billion domestic or globally. It's so far it's on track to make $500 million here in America alone.
That's insane.
It's at 493 million right now. Another little bit of movie news. I don't know if you've seen it. It littered my Facebook timeline after it happened, but D23. Did you see any of the stuff that came out from D23?
I did. You got stuff like, go ahead.
Toy Story 5. You know, Woody's in there. Like, what the hell's up with that? You know, Woody left in the last movie. What's going on?
Yeah.
Incredibles 3. Have you seen the trailer for the Captain America movie where they showed Red Hulk?
Yeah, I did see that trailer.
And then there was a Thunderbolts trailer, a Fantastic Four, and a Daredevil, which I haven't seen any footage of that yet.
I just saw like a screenshot of it, but it's got John Bernthal in it, right? The same guy that was in the Netflix show.
He's playing Punisher again.
Okay, yeah.
And but from what I understand, the main villain is Muse. That's what the main villain is, and then there were some Thunderbolts footage screened as well.
And Thunderbolts is the heroes that were in what Disney Plus show again?
It's basically Suicide Squad for Marvel, basically.
So
you got the Black Widow still.
Okay.
It's a Yelena, which is a black.
Florence Pugh.
Yeah, there we go. She plays a member. The Guardian's a member. Bucky is, and there's a couple others, you know, that are. It's basically, you know, they're bad guys, you know. So, and from what I've understood, it's supposed to be them trying to find Vibranium, or Adamantium. I'm sorry. And that's kind of their way to bring in, you know, mutants again.
And then Freaky Friday 2.
Mm-hmm. I haven't even seen the first one, but I remember the original with Jodie Foster.
So a thing that also popped up is that, which we didn't get to talk about, or we're talking about it here, is 3 Star Wars movies in like 2 years, or 3 or 4 years, something like that. A Mandalorian and a Grogu movie, right?
Mm-hmm. That's been on the table for a while.
And then, what are the other 2 movies about? Do you know? Did they leak anything?
I have no idea. I didn't even know they're. Well, unless you count, because they're one of them. Is it the Daisy Ridley, New Jedi Order movie that they're going to possibly do?
Yeah. Daisy Ridley is signed up to be in one of them. I also saw a poster of Adam Driver being announced, but I don't know what. I don't know. Are they adding on to that saga, or I don't know what they're doing.
I don't either.
So
I kind of fell out of Star Wars after they became pretty fucking woke, if you know what I mean. I don't know if you know what that means, but they just And plus, there's stories that it's like nobody's even fucking trying. Like, Mandalorian was cool, but some of the other stuff was just like, you guys didn't even put no fucking thought in this.
Yeah. And then before we get on to some of our top 5, I know you didn't get to join us for the Deadpool.
I was a little upset about not being able to join on that one.
But
I had a lot to say. I really did have a lot to say. I knew what the fuck was going on through a lot of that fucking movie. I was like, oh, read that before, seen that one before. Yep. Oh, that person knows this person. Did you know that? Oh yeah.
That would have been a pretty banger episode. We probably would have went 2.5 hours.
I'd have been fine with that.
Yeah. So you know what? Maybe we'll visit it down the road again when there's the Blu-ray comes out. We'll have a part 2 discussion about it.
All right.
So
now that it's out and everything's kind of not secret anymore, we can.
Yeah. But now this should be fun because we are going to go through and talk our top 5 Elvis songs, especially since we're talking about Priscilla and Elvis. Let's get ready to talk our top 5. So we're talking top 5 Elvis songs, whether there's meaning behind them or not. I don't have any honorable mentions. Jay, if you do.
Um, there's one I can't recall the fucking name of it to save the life of me right now. It's the one. Never mind. I'm not even gonna mention it. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll make myself look stupid.
But
But no, there's some that I've been to Graceland. Just started off. I've been to Graceland. Took my mom and my daughter. That was her 4-year-old. That's what she wanted to do for her 4th birthday. So we took her to Memphis to see Elvis's house. She's like, I want to see Elvis's house. What do you do for your kids? You take them where they want to go.
Yep.
So we did that, and leading up to that trip and everything, we Elvised it out. Like any trip we took, any car ride, anything. It was always on. We had Sirius Radio at the time, and it was always on the Elvis channel. So, we always listened to that because they broadcast it out of Graceland. Like you could sit there and have lunch at Graceland, and you can hear the Elvis radio station playing in the background.
Oh wow!
And then it's just that growing up in our family. I don't know about you. Elvis and Priscilla were looked at as royalty, but that was in our family. They were looked up to in our family. So much so that one of our cousins' names is Priscilla, and another one of our cousins is named Elvis. That's how close to heart, our family took this family, this other family, So my mom always had she had magazines when I was growing up, from the time she was growing up. And I could flip through them and shit like that. She had all kinds of different books. I've read different books about the book this movie is based on, Elvis and Me.
Yep.
I've read it, bro.
Nice. That's cool. I'm kind of excited now. I didn't know that you've read that book.
Uh-huh.
So
it was made into a made-for-TV movie in the late 80s, maybe, called Elvis. It was called Elvis and Me. It was for ABC or CBS, Sunday Night at the Movies.
Dang.
I think it was a 1 or 2-parter. I can't remember. Right.
So yeah,
I have the internet.
Let's kind of hang out and talk about the songs. And these songs, to me, like you said, there's only one on here that's kind of sentimental. Everything else I've kind of like sheared away from some of his like downright real popular songs, and I've kind of like just these are my 5 that I really enjoy just listening to, whether I know that it's Elvis or not. I'm like, man, that's just a really good song.
When you told me you want to do a top 5 Elvis song list, I was like, all right, do you want to do his country songs? Do you want to do his gospel songs? Do you want to do his rock and roll songs? Or we just overall in it?
Yeah, we're overall in it, man. He does have a wide span of just different music. And I think, I don't know. I didn't. I'm glad you brought that up because I didn't really go through and like, hey, is this? I just picked the 5 that's on my most listened to on my playlist. So I'll start. Number 5 for me is "In the Ghetto."
Dude, shit, I forgot about that song.
Yeah,
that's an honorable mention then for me. Oh, bro, I love that song.
Yep, just how slow and how kind of like I said, a lot of these are going to be.
It's a story-based song. It's a story. It's a structured song, like a story. It's it's a loop, which I love.
So, like I said, only one of these are sentimental and have like backstory. Other than that, I just picked on what was mostly played in my playlist. So, number 5 for you.
Can't Help Falling in Love.
It's a good one.
I know it's from a movie. I think it's Blue Hawaii. I want to say. I think that's where it's from, and he's singing it with Angela Lansbury.
Yep.
So it's a real good song.
Number 4, I went with Unchained Melody. I don't think he was the originator of this song.
He was not. He just gave his own rendition.
Yep, and I loved his rendition. I think the other versions of this song is played by with multiple people. I think he's one of the only ones who did it.
The Righteous Brothers is a very good version. It's kind of hard to top that one, but Elvis holds his own.
Yeah, his sounds different. He makes this song his own, and when it was in the movie, the way the first Elvis movie ended with Tom Hanks, that's how the movie kind of ended with this song, and I'm like, man, that's a pretty epic way to end the movie. So number 4 is Unchained Melody.
My number 4, Suspicious Minds. That song's about cheating, straight up. It's like, You know, I'm like, holy shit. You know, it's a song from the was it 70s? Yeah, that's about having a suspicion on your mind that your partner's cheating on you. It's like, oh shit. And it's a fucking kick-ass song too. It has that, just the guitar in it. I've seen Elvis in concert live. I have never. No. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
I was dead. I was alive before he was dead. You know, I wasn't alive before he was dead. You know what I mean?
Right. That's okay. That's true. My bad.
He died in 77. I was born in 82. But it's called Elvis Live in Concert, and it's from his Las Vegas stay at I can't remember fucking where he played at.
When he was there for months, right?
Yeah. They did a film of it, and him getting down to Suspicious Minds. Holy shit, bro. You know, that motherfucker takes you on a ride. The lighting, the moves. Like, you need to see that movie. It's about an hour and 45 minutes of just Elvis fucking being a pimp for an hour and 45 minutes.
I mean, it's
like straight up, like he's sitting there like making out with chicks in the audience and shit. There's just one section where the band plays and he goes out and makes out with everybody in the fucking audience. So yeah, Suspicious Minds. That's my number 4.
Number 3 for me is Don't Be Cruel.
Not a bad one. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah. That's again.
That's an early one.
Yeah, a lot of them too that I picked, I feel like, are really, really slow songs. I don't think I have any super.
Don't Be Cruel is pretty upbeat.
I think that might be the only one I have. But yeah, Don't Be Cruel is that's the Teddy Bear song.
No.
No?
No. Teddy Bear and Don't Be Cruel, 2 different songs.
My bad.
Hey, we're gonna have to. Your mom would have fun sitting there listening to some Elvis with us.
She watched the movie today. So
the Priscilla one?
Yeah.
I'll have to ask what she thinks when we get into there.
But yeah, that's number 3 for me is Don't Be Cruel. What's number 3 for you?
Elvis's version of My Way.
The Sinatra song?
Yes. The way he just sits there, his voice is so captivating in that song. You know, it is very, very fucking haunting. I've always loved that song. My mom, when I was growing up, listening to 50s and 60s music on the radio and shit like that. We used to listen to the oldies station on the radio station. So I know a bunch of fucking different old school songs like that. You know, it brings me joy to hear those type of songs. And this was,
I think we both can agree on if it's on a random station and an Elvis song plays, to me personally, I can't skip it. I got to listen through it.
Well, there's probably a 90% chance we know it word for word too, or at least me. I don't know about you.
It's been a minute, but yeah. Number 2, If I Can Dream.
Bro, number 2, If I Can Dream. Dude. That song is powerful, isn't it?
Yeah, and we didn't talk about this list either before we came on. So
he sang it at the '68 comeback special.
Yep,
it was in remembrance of Martin Luther King and Robert Kennedy. He wanted to sit there and honor their memory and shit. So that's what he's saying. They want him that entire. You've seen the movie, but that entire '68 special was supposed to be a Christmas special.
Yep.
And they wanted at least that last song to be a Christmas song, since Elvis basically was like, I'm not singing any fucking Christmas songs. So, Colonel was like, the last song has to be a Christmas song, E. And he was like, no, fuck you. I'm going to sing what I want. And so he went out there and gave this powerful, powerful performance of If I Can Dream. And it was like, holy shit, man. Dude, every time I see him perform that, have you only seen the movie version?
I've seen a YouTube. I don't know. I didn't see like the whole special, but I've seen the YouTube version of that song
where he sings it himself.
Yeah,
bro, just his emotion. The man sings it effortlessly. First of all, like the words and the fucking just bravado that comes out of his mouth. It's like, holy fuck, bro. He's effortless. And then the way he sways his arms back and forth just to get that there's something in his voice when he moves his arms up and down, Dude, it's a powerful, powerful performance.
And we talked about it because we talked about Elvis when it first came out back in the day a few years ago, and like even in the movie version, like you can sit there looking like, man, I think some of those performances that Austin Butler did as Elvis won him or got him at least nominated. I think he should have won the Academy Award for that.
Oh, Academy loves fucking biography bait. You know
Yeah.
they do. But If I Could Dream is my number 2 and your number 2. So
Yep. Number 1 for me is, you mentioned it earlier, Can't Help Falling in Love. And it's Elvis's version, of course, but whenever I hear that song performed by anybody else, or even just in a movie or in a scene, like that song is just nonstop, like amazing, beautiful. It's just, it's it for me. So, yeah, but Elvis's version is definitely the definitive version for me.
my number 1, I hope you've heard it. If you haven't, you need to go out and listen to it like right away. It's a beautiful fucking song. It's called American Trilogy.
I've seen it, but I don't think I've heard it all.
I have a story that goes along with American Trilogy for it being my number 1 favorite. Besides, how you get all of Elvis's different styles. You get all kinds of Elvis in this song. But the story I have is whenever me and my family went to Graceland and my daughter, we were in Elvis's trophy room, and they had a recording of his concert on a TV in there next to one of his costumes, the costume he wore at that concert. And my daughter's sitting there looking at the show or the TV, looking at the costume, like, Dad, he's wearing the same costume. I was like, I know, right? So we go walking around, and next thing I look down, and my daughter's singing this fucking song, word for word. At 4 years old, bro. 4 years old. And Elvis's trophy room, me and my mom stop and just sit there and listen. She gets a small applause from everybody after the song's finished. She belts out the entire fucking thing, bro. No, didn't care for one bit in the world, bro. But Sam Stackhouse's wedding, we sing this song after he got married. All the groomsmen, all the best man, everybody. We all got out in the middle of the fucking floor and sang this song, dude. And fucking pretended we were all Elvis.
Nice.
So, yeah, this song, number 1 for me.
Awesome. I'll give it a listen after the episode. That's a pretty fun list.
Oh, yeah.
So if you guys want to email or send in some comments or messages, hit us up. Let us know your top 5, or even if it's just your favorite. You don't have to do a whole top 5. Let us know your favorite Elvis song, and we'll talk about it on air next week.
Before we get into the movie, I'm going to go grab another beer if you can keep us rolling.
We can.
Awesome.
And that all comes into play with San Marcos Mexican Restaurant. If you guys are in locally here in Oklahoma City, go check them out. Great food, even better customer service. We always go to the OG spot, 2301 Southwest 59th Street, right here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, at 405-685-7773. Call in for a to-go order or dine in and experience the best customer service in the OKC metro area. Not only the best customer service, but also great food. Let them know that the Cine-Men Movie Podcast sent you and get 10% off your entire purchase. They're open every day of the week, so go check them out. San Marcos Mexican Restaurant. Let them know that the Cine-Men Movie Podcast sent you. So, but as we are getting ready to get into today's episode, A24 month continues. Last week we talked Civil War. Today is Priscilla. When teenage Priscilla meets Elvis Presley, the man who is already a rock and roll superstar becomes someone entirely unexpected in private moments, a thrilling crush, and an ally in loneliness, and in a vulnerable best friend. So this movie is starring Kaylee Spaney. We talked about her last week. Jacob Elodie? I don't want to mess up his name. Written by Priscilla Presley, based off of the book Elvis and Me, and directed by Sofia Coppola.
It was written by Sofia Coppola as well.
So, should be pretty interesting to get some thoughts on this. If you guys want to check it out, follow along with us. We are 35 minutes into the episode. It's streaming on Max right now. Or if you want to just listen to the conversation, maybe the conversation will make you want to go check out this movie. So yeah, when I first saw this movie, I kind of dug into it before even checking it out. Um, and I didn't know this is like my third or fourth time watch, by the way. Was this your first time, like I said, getting ready for the episode?
It was.
So, but you have read the book, so you kind of knew what you were already getting into. When I
Mhm.
first watched it, I didn't know what I was getting into. I was like, man, why are they just now coming out with this? The Tom Hanks movie came out like a year prior, 2 years prior. Completely different story, completely different tale of the tale. Almost to where the daughter, Lisa Marie Presley, I heard, did not want this movie to make theaters.
Well, it was kind of hard for that to happen when her mom was an executive producer of it,
Yeah,
and it was based off her book.
yeah. She also did not. I don't know if she. I guess she owns the rights to his music, or did own rights to his music, but she didn't allow the movie to use any of his original music whatsoever. So
She's,
I think there's only one Elvis song in the movie, and other than that, she did not allow the director any chance at the music. So I kind of wonder, maybe you have some extra thoughts on this. I always thought maybe it's just the way the book and the movie portrayed her dad, but is that
Mhm.
the reason why she probably didn't want this movie to come out?
It made her dad look unfavorably. You got to remember Elvis Presley Enterprises is a very, very, very big company, dude. Like seriously, you need to look up Graceland Complex. But it's just not Elvis's house anymore.
Yeah.
Seriously, like they're what you can go see Elvis's jet that he flew around, his private jet, Lisa Marie. The last time when I was there in 2012, that was 12 years ago. They were trying to buy up all the land around Graceland, which meant everybody's houses, businesses, everything, so they could tear everything down and build a small amusement park, a few hotels, and some other shit there. Like they wanted to turn this into Elvis land, basically. So there was just too much money to make him look bad. You know what I mean?
Right. But you gotta knock off, or at least give some kind of flowers, I guess, to the director and Priscilla for wanting this story, the book, and then later on the movie to come out. And if I think even if you're a huge Elvis fan, you can still enjoy this movie.
Well, even if you're an Elvis fan, you knew the story.
Yeah.
Basically, if you followed Elvis from his beginnings to now, you knew the story. Because, like I said, this isn't the first time that Elvis and Me had been turned into a movie. Like I said, it was an ABC or CBS Night at the movie back in the late 80s.
And man, I think right after this movie came out, or the first Elvis movie with Tom Hanks came out, Lisa Marie passed away, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But Priscilla is still alive.
Oh
yeah. Which is insane to me. That there's just like, life is just so funny. It's like Sofia Coppola directing this movie. She's also like, she's the cousin of Nicolas Cage, who Nicolas Cage once was married to Lisa Marie Presley, right?
Mm-hmm. Because he was a huge Elvis fan.
Yeah, and it's like, man, it's a pretty neat little triangle. Anyway, the first time watching the movie, you knew the story. What did you think of the cast? What'd you think of the guy who portrayed Elvis?
Oh God,
terrible.
Oh yeah. Silhouette wise, from afar, yes, he had the Elvis kind of silhouette. But as far as when they went to close-ups, oh no, nope. There was nothing resembling Elvis there at all. There was nothing there. The voice was all right, but no.
Which I enjoyed, just because I didn't want, at least for me, I'm like, okay, like Kaylee,
she was gorgeous,
right? But I'm glad how they didn't pick somebody to overshadow her, because this was a Priscilla. They tried to make her the main star, the main focus.
Well, I get that being her the main star and everything like that, but Homeboy should at least look like Elvis. A little bit prosthetic, something shit.
Yeah,
That's just my opinion.
he's pretty young too. He is 97, so that makes him almost 30. So he's like 20.
I can't
Yeah.
do math right now. I'm kind of drunk.
But yeah, I mean, and I got the same feeling when I first seen it, or when I first saw the trailers. I was like, that is not Elvis, especially just now. Looking at like Austin Butler and how
Exactly. That's the whole point.
they
They
hit the
had
nail
time to
on the
make it
spot.
better.
Yeah,
They had time to make it get it better. Elvis. Hell, I would have been grateful if they'd have just paid Austin Butler some more money and been like, "Here, you're our Elvis too."
yeah, and we'll talk about that because currently on IMDb it's at a 6.5. Rotten Tomatoes is 84%. Metascore is 79. The Letterboxd is 3.6 out of 5. The budget was only 20 million, and it grossed 33 million at the box office.
It's a good looking film for 30 million or 20 million.
Yeah, and the release date was October 27th of last year, 2023. So, and yeah, I mean, if they could, I bet they would probably fit Austin Butler into the budget somehow. But let's talk about Kaylee as Priscilla. She was 18, or no, she was 17 when the film started shooting, and 18 whenever it finished. I think she portrays Priscilla to the perfect almost. What do you think? Did you like Kaylee? Oh, technical difficulty. Are you there? Can you hear me? Oh, did we lose Jay? I think we might have lost Jay. Can you hear me? Are you there?
I'm back. Where were we?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. My bad. Before we had some technical issues, I asked you how was Kaylee? Did you like the way she portrayed Priscilla?
I did. I thought she was pretty good in that role.
Did you like?
There was not much to her role besides feeling lonely and you know what I mean. There was a lot
Yeah.
it's just basically a lot of her expressing her loneliness because, or even when she's in another scene with Elvis.
So did you appreciate the way the movie was showing them, like, or did you feel like it was too one-sided, or going back and forth comparing like the book to the movie? Did you think about the book a lot? Oh, I think we lost him again. Are we there? So we're having some technical difficulties. If you guys could just bear with us, and we'll get ready to probably talk some favorite scenes. And we'll be able to hang tight real quick. But before then, we can talk about another sponsor if you want. This episode is also brought to you by Rodeo Cinema. It's OKC's independent non-for-profit theaters showing new movies, old movies, and everything in between. You can also rent out the theater for public or private events. Give them a shout out at 2221 Exchange Avenue and let them know that the Cine-Men Movie Podcast sent you. What's up, Jay?
Okay, that's the reason why I haven't been on the show for the past couple weeks because my internet keeps fucking up.
No, might have to.
But
the only thing I asked was, did you compare the book a lot to the movie?
it's been a minute since I've read the book, but knowing her story like I do, she met him when she was 14 years old in Germany because he was stationed there. Her parents were stationed there, so that it's all there.
Oh, go ahead.
it was. I do like that. You know, it's a very weird situation to have because Elvis was a superstar at this point in time, and he's dating a 14-year-old. And Elvis was like 19 or 20, maybe 21, 22, some shit like that.
Yeah.
Not quite sure, but, you know, it was not good optics. But
it wasn't good optics now, but we can at least probably say that back then. I don't think
wasn't.
it mattered. It wasn't.
Even then, it was. No, even then, it wasn't. It was still looked upon as.
But
bro, really?
You know what? You know what though? The movie is weird because I don't know if it's like this in the book too, but how? I mean, in the movie, just the private Terry West just walks up and invites this 14-year-old to a party. Is there any like why, how, say like he just thought she was cute and let me invite the 14-year-old to the party?
That is like I said, it's been a minute, so there. I don't know. It's a weird situation to be in, even as a person, just looking back.
But that's how she gets invited to the party initially, and then obviously, like the good parents should, they say no, and then he comes up and asks the dad in person. So I thought it was kind of weird. Surely it felt honestly when I first watched it, it felt like, hey, is Elvis sending this guy to go recruit young women?
He could have been like the roadies for bands, be like, hey, you're pretty cute. Elvis wants to bang you.
Yeah.
Well, there's even other reports that the Colonel had to sit there and tell Elvis to watch who he's fucking around with when he goes to different places because Elvis was choosing them kind of young.
Mm.
He's always, I guess it was always his thing, he either banged them young and he was always banging his co-stars.
Let's talk about that. I like how they introduced and talked about the co-star who she kind of rambled the situation in between Priscilla and Elvis, which is Anne
Margaret.
Anne Margaret, who my first introduction to her, she was the redheaded neighbor from Grumpy Old Men with Walter Matthau.
But I remember from Big of Las Vegas.
Okay. And it's funny that those two fight over her in that movie, and I'm like, hey, that's funny. Because
all right, this pissed me off. Hello, hello.
Complete disaster.
I lost internet. You lost power.
Man, it's like somebody's not wanting this movie to be talked about.
It's Elvis Coalition.
Man, this happened one time too when we were talking about aliens and the government when we were talking about Nope a few years ago. Sorry
Hey,
for the 10-minute delay.
something like that. We both just lost our shit.
And, but I guess they say anything can happen live, right? That's what I get for trying to live stream.
Yep.
But anyway, we're here, we're back. Let's talk a little bit about our favorite scenes before something else bad happens. One thing I did want to ask you before, like I said, did you dislike how they kind of showed too much negativity on the couple? Would you have liked to see a little 50-50 balance?
To me, there was too much.
Too much
It was.
negativity?
I agree. Yeah, there was more. Elvis is abusive and he slams shit. You know, I'm like, okay, what? Okay, so it was just basically to me, it was like a Cliff's Notes version of her life, and it wasn't even a big, good Cliff's Note because again, they just skipped around. They didn't. There was no. I don't know.
No, I agree. I think there was too much negativity on the relationship instead of maybe trying to balance it out. But again, I know for like only an hour and 50-minute movie, what can you really try to do? I now this is I don't want to be bashed for anything, but I did read that uh, there's some reviews out there saying that a female director who was 100% behind Priscilla didn't help any. I don't know if that's true or not, but um, Sofia Coppola has done some good movies before in the past, and this one is again reviews say it's highly rated. But do you think any of that comes to fruition too, or you know?
Oh no, I just think it was just they only had so long to get across the point of view. Like the way I experienced it was that Elvis was this love struck guy, and then boom, who was an asshole for most of the movie. It was like, damn, was he really like that the entire time you were together, or what the fuck?
Yeah,
It's like Elvis couldn't have been that way. I get Elvis was probably secretive and shit like that he didn't want. He had his road life and he had his home life. He didn't. What I always interpreted as this is the way, just knowing their story and everything the way I do, knowing his story, her story, is that Elvis wanted somebody he could put his trust in and not have to worry about whatever he says to that person. Everything was okay because that was his person. And he also wanted a person that was business savvy because he knew that from the business standpoint, he needed someone that understood it from that point of view as well. And I think that's why I hate to use the word groomed, but I think that's honestly why he chose Priscilla, was because because if you sit there, she was groomable. She was very, not in a bad way, you know what I mean? Sexually
yeah,
grooming.
no, I get you.
Monetarily, you know what I mean? Grooming her for a way of life. And after Elvis passed away, she took over his estate and shit like that. And, she was put in charge the way Elvis was trying to train her in that weird way.
Isn't that one of those things though? Like, how does she only have power until Lisa Marie turned like a certain age? Because like now she has. Does she still have that power or
Well,
no?
they sold it to another company, and it's now called Elvis Presley Enterprises, if I'm not mistaken.
So okay.
They still get it's because it's in they still get even though Graceland is a museum and an attraction for the state of Tennessee and Memphis, the city of Memphis, that it's still, the last time I've seen, when they sold everything, they were still able to have access to the house if they ever wanted to go to Graceland and sleep. It was still
Wow,
considered their house,
that's
but they would.
insane.
So there's a 24/7 webcam set up in like multiple places at Graceland that you can go online at graceland.com and view anytime.
Wow. What about let's name some favorite scenes. Um,
I thought it did a good. I'm gonna say it's not a complete scene. It's just the entire movie. I thought they'd done well with the time setting for the budget that they had. Because it's pretty difficult to make a movie that's a time period piece. It's the 50s and shit like that, and 60s, mainly the 60s. But it is a very difficult thing to set up that look. Did I lose you again?
No, I'm still here.
Okay, I was about.
And it's crazy with them filming in Toronto. Like they made a lot of stuff look like they were in Memphis, look like they were at Graceland. So for somebody who's been there, what did you think the cinematography of everything that made it look like Memphis?
It looked like Elvis's house. Like I said, besides that being more updated with the shit they've added, the stuff that they've added here lately, to modernize it, make, like roads and shit like that. His gravesite, because Elvis is buried at Graceland. So right by his pool, I don't know if you remember the scene where they're having the barbecue and you can see that white fence. And they're right behind that is where Elvis is buried at.
Oh, wow. So when you go visit Graceland, you can actually visit his actual gravesite.
His gravesite, his grandmother's gravesite, and his twin brother's gravesite.
His mom not buried there?
And his mother, I'm sorry.
Oh,
and his mother's there too.
Wow.
While Graceland was being turned into an attraction, a lot of Elvis's family lived there. His grandmother lived there since she was like 80 some odd years old, bro.
It says it in the movie too. I never realized that his mom never met Priscilla.
She passed away whenever
when he was in
Germany, just not too long after he got through his basic training. Yeah.
Are you a fan of the way this movie, like, they mention the Colonel, but there's like no really character who plays the Colonel in this movie? Were you okay with that?
Yeah, because they could have probably added some of Priscilla's perspective of the Colonel to the movie, but it wouldn't have been needed, because this is a relation. The main focus of the movie is her relationship with Elvis, and I just don't sit there and think that the entire movie or their entire life was that. It's so dramatic and just heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Because the movie really, to me, it really after she comes and stays with him, basically, is when the loneliness, I guess is what you want to say, sits in.
And I think it mentioned it in the movie too, but in the special features, there's like a 30-minute documentary on the making of, and they keep pushing it in the movie, like, she doesn't really feel like that's her home, like that's, she feels like a guest in her own house, I guess, is one of the ways that she portrays it.
Yeah, see, I've always known, everything I've always read is that was home for her. They done everything they could to make her feel at home. It was just that Elvis wasn't at home, so she didn't have that, other person with her that she always, the person that she loved.
Yeah.
But favorite scenes, not anything. I didn't have any favorite scene in particular, but like I said, I enjoyed the way that it looked, for one, and then just some of the vintage film stock that they would use. Like the home videos, making it the home videos seem like that was pretty cool. It had a nice. The costumes were great. It made you feel like, what I mean? Everything felt great. My biggest complaint about the entire movie is Homeboy didn't look like Elvis at all.
I love biopics. I thought Elvis in 2021 was outstanding, or 2022. I thought, Bohemian Rhapsody. Anytime they can make you believe that you're in that time watching these characters, I'm going to agree with you. I don't think Jacob, whatever his last name is, I don't think,
or some shit like that.
Yeah, I don't think he looked like Elvis. I agree from a far distance, maybe a figure from the back. Hell, give me the Elvis who was in Forrest Gump, where you just, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But I like his like I said, like you said, his tone and his voice was pretty good. But I do like how they shied away from making him look all big and spectacular because of, they wanted the limelight to be on Priscilla. I thought Kaylee did an amazing job playing Priscilla. So if I'm gonna have to pick a few favorite scenes, where they're actually having a good time with the bumper cars and the fireworks, that scene I enjoy them just hanging out and being familiar with each other. Sign me up for a 3-hour Elvis film. I know Elvis. It was
There is an
I
Elvis made-for-TV movie that was released in like 2010 or 2012. It's just called Elvis, like every other one. You know what I mean? And it stars John Rhys Davis. He plays Elvis, and it's a two-parter. There's part 1 is 90 minutes, part 2 is 90 minutes. You want a 3-hour movie with Elvis? There you go.
I'll have to definitely hit it up then.
I think it was made for AMC or something like that, or A&E.
A&E, probably. Yeah, that sounds pretty.
It's real good. Robert Patrick plays his dad.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, it's real good.
I also like the scene where they get married. I didn't like. I'm going to mention a scene. Usually we only mention favorites. I didn't like the scene where it just randomly out of the blue showed them experimenting with LSD.
Dude, I was about to say I love that scene.
Did you really?
I was seriously about to say I actually enjoyed that scene because
hold on.
That's how it is. That's legit how it is to be with the person you love. They were tripping on acid, bro.
Is that the scene though where they dress up?
No, that was just them taking photographs and doing their thing. Okay. Where they done the LSD, they took the sugar cubes. And then they sit there and they like laid there and fucking held each other, just looked at the fucking their hands, the walls, the lighting was all fucked up because you experienced shrooms with me not too long ago.
Yeah.
And you yourself see they're
the same way.
Exactly. See? You were seeing like shit out in your peripheral, like what the fuck was that? You seen Freddy Krueger.
I told you about the eggplant scene, or the eggplant, didn't I? Where I thought that the dog was a giant eggplant walking around. Okay, maybe I should have refocused that statement. I didn't like how it showed so much negativity on them just using drugs. I'm kind of like you. I wish it showed them a little bit more lighthearted, having fun, hanging out, more of the the good side, if you will.
Oh, from everything I understand, Elvis was a gentleman. He was just training a woman to be his. It's a weird relationship that they had. That we as normal people can't sit there and speak on Elvis' relationship because at the time that Elvis was popular, no one, and I mean no one, besides royalty and shit like that, was being. Had that type of scrutiny, that they were under a microscope like Elvis was. And then whenever, Priscilla, she now was under that microscope. It was a very weird thing to be, because, celebrities have their thing, but Elvis was one of the first celebrities, that everybody paid attention to. Every magazine had some article. Every fucking news people had articles. Yep. There was always something about Elvis was a go-to person that they could always make a buck off of.
Did you already mention a favorite scene?
I did.
Okay. Yeah. Star rating. You want to go first?
I'll go with 3.
3. I'm right there with you. I was thinking 3.5, but I'm going to go with 3. Just because the second or third time around watching this movie, it didn't do anything extra for me. I kind of still had the same feeling at the end of each film. It kind of just abruptly ended. I do like the Dolly Parton song at the end, though.
Oh, yeah. I Will Always With You?
Yeah. I enjoyed the hell out of the song they picked for that because it really put a staple on probably the way she felt.
Oh, well, that's the one thing that her and Elvis remained friends after they split. That was he was still worried about, it was the mother of his child.
Yeah.
you know, he always took care of her, even though she was married to another man. And they didn't really explain it in the movie, but she's sitting there at the end of the movie doing karate, right?
Yeah.
She is married to that guy. She marries that guy.
Mm.
Her husband after Elvis was her karate instructor, bro. So, but I thought I do agree that her leaving to I Will Always Love You, leaving Elvis's the Graceland property was a very good, you know, ending.
Yeah. So yeah, if you guys want to go check it out, this episode was kind of all over the place. Technical difficulties out the ass. If you're listening to this, there shouldn't be that 10-minute pause. If you're watching this, though, thanks for joining us on Swap Productions YouTube channel. You can see me tomorrow night. We're going to talk about Trap over on Friday the 14th podcast. But next week, hopefully we don't have any interruptions next week. Next week, A24 month continues with Dream Scenario. Nicolas Cage, he is the man of your dreams. Jay, have you seen this yet?
I have not yet.
It's out there. I've only seen it once, but hopefully, we don't have any kind of interruptions next week. Next week we'll talk Dream Scenario, Nicolas Cage. It's always fun talking a Nicolas Cage movie. I don't know about you, but I don't think. Yeah. I don't think anything different. So Nicolas Cage next week, Dream Scenario. Anything else you want to add to Priscilla before we jump out of here?
No.
All right, man. See you guys.
We discussed enough.
Yeah, well, we could. Thanks for everyone joining. We'll see you next week, episode 311, for another new episode of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast.